Hey media students, in our last video I showed you how to animate your character's eyes, how to make them blink, and how to make the pupils move. In this video, I'll show you how you can make your character's arms draggable so that you can make your character's arms move or wave. So we're in the rig workspace, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by animating my character's left arm. So I'm going to click on left arm. You can see that the character's left arm gets highlighted. So what I want to do first is grab its origin point right here. And the way I like to think about this is, how is the arm connected to my character? So the arm is connected to my character on the shoulder. So I'm going to grab this origin point and put it on his shoulder. And then basically, to be able to move his arm, again, I need to click on his left arm like this. I'm going to put a dragger, which is a tool down here, a dragger tool, and put this on his hand. So I'm going to click on that and click on his hand and put that there. So this means I can click on his hand and drag it, and his left arm is connected to his body here. So this is where we can jump into record and do some testing. So now I'm going to try and drag this hand and move it around, and you can see he's basically like Elastic Man. I can drag it around, I can make him wave, and that's all great. And if I let go, it gets stuck there. So there's a couple improvements that we can make. The first one is we can go over to the side here on properties. We had eye gaze open before. Let's close that up. And we're going to look down here for dragger. And we're going to click on dragger, and I'm going to just decide, do I want to hold his arm in place or return it to rest when I let go of the mouse? This is what hold in place looks like. Return to rest is kind of neat. After 0.2 seconds, it'll go back to where it was. So he'll kind of snap back into place. So this is what return to rest looks like. Now let's just change this back to hold in place for a second, just because it does a better job of showing you what I want to do here. His arm is pretty squishy, and depending on your character, you might want to improve this a little bit. So I'm going to go back to rig, and I'm going to give his arm a little bit of structure. What I'm going to do is use sticks right here. Think about sticks as like bones. So I'm going to put a bone in his arm, or a stick in his arm right here, and a stick in his arm right here. Sticks can't bend, so I've really just created an elbow for him right here. So let's go back to record, and now it's a lot more realistic when he moves his arm around. And again, I have it clicked on hold in place, but if I click it to return to rest, when I drag his arm, it'll go back down there. Now this kind of presents a problem for us. One, I had you draw your puppets with their arms out because it's a lot easier to animate it this way. So we can get this dragger to work, but your character is going to be standing like this all the time. So this creates, an interesting problem for us to fix. One, you could totally do this, and before you start recording, you need to make sure that this is set on held in place. And before you start recording, you have to kind of arrange your puppet. So you'd put his arms down to the side. If you want to use return to rest, what this kind of means is that you should probably go back to your puppet in Illustrator, and you should alter the angle of his arms. So I'll do it on his right arm over here. I'll alter his arm. I'll use the rotate tool, and I'm going to put that up in his shoulder right here and rotate this down like this. And I'm going to grab the move tool and just adjust this just a little bit. I haven't really changed any layers or done anything. All I've done is put his arm down there. And now I'm going to save this. And when I go back to Character Animator, all right, and go back to rig, you'll see that sometimes things get a little goofy when you move it in Illustrator. So I'm going to click on his right arm, and I'm just going to click on the move tool down here, or selection tool it's called, and I'm going to move it back into place like this. But I'm still going to do the same steps. I'm going to click on his arm, and I'm going to drag it into his shoulder. I'm going to create a dragger on his hand. And I'm going to create some sticks to kind of keep his arm kind of moving humanish like. like that. And I'm going to click on record, and now I can actually drag both hands. So this one that's stuck out here, this bends and it returns the rest. This one here is at his side too, and I can bend that one. So there's really two ways you can do this. You can go into Illustrator and edit your character's stance this way, or you can change this to hold in place, and before we start recording, you can actually get your character standing the way you want to. So that's how we can make draggers for your character.